articles and said that Hitler's anti-Semitism was not so genuine or violent as it sounded, and he was merely using anti-Semitism as a bait to catch followers.
When you track how people first reacted to Hitler and Mussolini, they said, oh, he's just insane. Or the classic thing is that the elite party, in this case, the GOP, we're going to invite him into power, and then we're going to control him.
How am I doing? Am I doing okay? I'm president. Hey, I'm president. Can you believe it, right?
Over and over in history, what has happened is that these people get invited in, they get legitimized, and then they take over the show.
There is no Republican Party. There's a Trump Party.
At 12:05 p.m. on January 20th, 2017, just minutes after being sworn in as president,
So help me God.
Trump filed the paperwork for the Trump 2020 re-election campaign. Within days, he went right back to holding rallies.
Keep America great! Exclamation point.
And campaigning for an 8-year presidency.
Unless they give me an extension for the presidency.
These are what I call trial balloons. You throw out an idea that previously was unthinkable.
4 years, 8 years, or as you know, FDR, in one case, 16 years. Should we go back to 16 years? Should we do that? Congressman, can we have that extended?
Unthinkable in democracy or unthinkable for human rights reasons.
She is a great gentleman. He's now president for life. President for life. No, he's great. Hey, look, he was able to do that. I think it's great. Maybe we'll have to give that a shot someday.
They float these ideas, they get them out there, and then the press does its job for him.
President Trump offering his congratulations to Turkey's President Erdogan for winning a referendum that grants him sweeping new powers.
Picks them up, amplifies them, circulates, and then it becomes a thing.
You know, the last time I jokingly said that, 16 years, the papers started saying, he's got despotic tendencies. Now, I'm not looking to do it. Unless you want to do it, that's okay.
And it becomes part of the discourse.
Half of all Republicans in a poll said they would agree to postpone the 2020 election if President Trump asked them to.
52% of Republicans would support postponing the 2020 election if Trump proposed it. And he hasn't even proposed it.
People do think, well, we have this democracy, we've had it for over 200 years, it's not going anywhere.
But it's so bogus. That's just not true, Michael. We've had a democracy since circa 1970. I mean, if black people can't vote, it's not really democracy. If women can't vote, it's not really democracy. Democracy, I mean, I love the fact that I live in a country which is more democratic than others. But I will say that democracy in America is an aspiration. It's somewhere we've got to get. I mean, when only half the population is voting, when there's unlimited money in politics, we're not there yet.
Over 1 million new jobs, companies investing billions in America, stock market reaching all-time record highs, our country strong again.
Never in American history has a president kept more of his promises in his first 2 years in office. Not the promises he made to the voters, but the promises he made to his fellow billionaires in the ruling class. A record tax cut for the rich passed. Obamacare.
It's obvious that it's failing. It's dead.
Dead. Banking regulations either weakened or removed.
Doesn't get much bigger than that, right?
And is on his way to packing the court with 140 conservative judges.
A modern-day record.
And making lifetime appointments to the Supreme Court with right-wing judges. The Paris Climate Accords.
Will withdraw.
The Iran nuclear deal.
Will withdraw.
Our reconciliation with Cuba.
I am canceling.
Privatized prisons.
Whose stock has nearly doubled.
Privatized public schools. And he's building that wall.
We want to make it perfecto.
We shall establish, beyond the realm of doubt, facts which, before the dark decade of the Third Reich, would have seemed incredible.
I had a defendant who killed 90,000 Jews. And I asked him, why did you do that? And he said, Hitler knew more than I did, and he told me the Jews were planning to attack as a matter of self-defense, to defend ourselves against that attack. Now, that was the same argument being made by the President of the United States.
What Trump is doing.
We're doing something for which I hanged this man.
You can roughly locate any community in the world somewhere along a scale running all the way from democracy to despotism.
I hated watching this stuff in civics class, but boy, do I miss it now.
When a competent observer looks for signs of despotism in a community, he looks beyond fine words and noble phrases.
As a community moves towards despotism, common courtesy is withheld from large groups of people on account of their race.
You're a fucking piece of shit, you fucking spick.
Nasty fucking nigger.
Are you a citizen?
Yes, I am a citizen.
Are you a United States citizen?
Can you please get away from me?
Then you should not be
Can you please get away from me?
I hate you, fucking Chinese fuck.
Excuse me.
Put your hands on me one more time, motherfucker. You should get in a fucking Jewish oven and die like your ass.
Fuck you and you nigger fucking people. Okay? Get the fuck out of my country.
Or because they don't like a man's religion.
Is there a Muslim problem in the world?
Absolutely. Christianity is under tremendous siege. It's death by a million cuts. We are getting less and less and less powerful in terms of a religion and in terms of a force.
If a community's middle-income groups grow smaller, the likelihood of despotism is increased.
I make $7.30 an hour. I only get 17 hours a week. It's shit. Everything around here is.
Mr. President! Mr. President!
And when citizens have to accept what they're told.
The media. You mean fake news?
Well, that despotism stands a good chance.
Sleazy people. Crooked media.
The media has been unbelievably dishonest.
The most dishonest groups of people I've ever met.
But I'd never kill them. I hate them. I would never kill them. I would never do that. That's sick. No, I wouldn't. Wait, let's see. I want to find a friendly reporter.
Questions are not encouraged.
Don't ask me questions like that. You're not a very good reporter doing that.
How can you ask such a question?
Do you have a question that now is a legitimate question?
How dare you question the fact?
I guess I don't understand. If the information coming from those leaks is real, then how can the stories be
No,
fake?
the reporting is fake.
And if books and newspapers and the radio are efficiently controlled...
Sit down. Sit down. Sit down.
I have the right to ask the question. I'm a reporter and don't touch me, sir. Don't touch me, sir.
The people will read and accept exactly what the few in control want them to.
But it must be true. I saw it in this book right here.
Now that's what I call a nice question.
What I say goes, see? I'm the law around here.
I'm president and they're not.
He knows what he's doing. It's the same thing that authoritarians and fascists have done in the past. You need to make sure that when charges of corruption or other wrongdoing come forth, nobody believes the judiciary.
We're the only country, essentially, that has judges.
The intelligence services.
The corruption at the top of the FBI.
The press.
Fake news.
You need to make sure that they are discredited.
What you're seeing and what you're reading is not what's happening.
People believe him, and this is, of course, puzzling to many of his critics, but if the strong man, the authoritarian, has done his job, he has bonded people to him a long time ago. And this Trump was doing that with his rallies and his loyalty oaths.
Should we do the pledge? Raise your right hand.
Do you pledge that on Tuesday you will go
To vote for Donald Trump tomorrow. Raise that hand. I love you. I love you.
People don't care if he's lying. They believe in him, and that's more important than believing the truth.
You've been hearing me say it's a rigged system, but now I don't say it anymore because I won. Okay? It's true. Now I don't care. I don't care.
The founders thought this thing's going to last a decade, a few decades. We'll be lucky if it's a few generations. Democracy means ruled by the people, and if the people aren't asserting themselves, then democracy will go away. And whether it's to some drastic form like fascism, or whether it's to some form where yeah, we keep voting, but fewer of us are allowed to vote every year, and there's some kind of emergency statute, or, you know, the money just makes the voting basically a joke, which is unfortunately where we're tending anyway. Whether it's one or the other, there's so much to lose.
There will be a civil war in the United States of America. The Christians will finally come out of the shadows.
The sign says, hey, liberals, better get your guns if you try to impeach President Trump.
Just try it. You will have a spasm of violence in this country, an insurrection like you've never seen.
3% of us own over 160 million guns. Why would they need all those guns?
I would take up arms because I think I think we need a revolution. I'm not a violent person. I'm even an ordained pastor.
Michael Moore's everywhere saying, surround the Capitol, surround them, uprise, get violent. How did I know? I told you, I'm not that smart.
We're in literally a 10 or 20 year struggle for the future of the country, and that's where you're just going to have to man up, toughen up, just like our forefathers, right? We're going to have to do exactly the kind of effort they had, and we can win.
The white establishment is now the minority.
You ready to shoot Barry? All right, let's go. He's bleeding now, isn't he?
Susan Sontag, she said, we're just one 9/11 away from losing our democracy.
Yeah, I mean, I may be a bit more pessimistic. I think we're 0 9/11s away. We have to think, we have to reflect, we have to think these are the kinds of things which happen in history. Let's not trade the real freedom for fake safety. When there is a terrorist attack, the thing we have to mobilize for is not safety, but freedom.
There is one report, as of yet unconfirmed, that a plane has hit the World Trade Center, and you can see that there is smoke there coming out of at least two sides of the building.
The search is underway for those who are behind these evil acts.
The USA Patriot Act, adopted by Congress and signed by Bush 6 weeks after the attacks, allows for searches of medical and financial records, computer and telephone conversations, and even for the books you take out of the library. Most of the people we spoke to say they're willing to give up some liberties to fight terrorism.
Either you are with us, or you are with the terrorists.
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States.
Last week, ICE agents fanned out in raids like this one in every state.
Ripping children away from their families under this new policy.
¿De dónde son ustedes? ¿Y tú?
Guatemala.
No llores. Vas a llegar con... Mira, ella te va a explicar y te va a ayudar. ¿Cierto?
Papá.
Taking babies away from their mother and locking up one or the other and separating them because they didn't no harm to anybody. They just didn't comply with the stupid regulations. That's a crime against humanity, in my judgment. The Statue of Liberty stands there, you know, send me, you're tired, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. Where? We don't see it in this country, and it pains me. And that's the world in which we live. And we've got to change it or perish.
Months from now, when we realize that the democracy we wished we'd had never came to be, and what we did have was eliminated due to some national emergency, will we ask ourselves, when was that moment we could have turned things around before it was too late? Was it when the teacher in your family had to get a second job? Was it when you first saw the friendly cop on your beat wearing this and driving around in that? Was it when, after months of being addicted to the pills you've been given to make the pain go away, that you realized it really wasn't the pain that needed to go away? Was it when you first heard that the president you dearly loved took more money from Goldman Sachs than any other contributor